What's up? Alan Wilson here. Another beautiful day out here. Just trying to get out and sort of allow things to happen. I'm practicing allowing things to happen. Oh man, interesting journey. But I wanted to get out here and talk a little bit about the post I made the other day, manifestation being greater than manipulation. You know, I've been guilty of both for sure in the past, and manipulation doesn't have to come with bad intentions. You know, it can most definitely come with good intentions and trick us into thinking that we're doing good. And unless we're really in tune with ourselves, we don't even know we're doing it. Unless we've done spot check inventories and checking our ambitions and motives and working on our connection with our higher power, God, whatever you want to call him, we can very easily get into a form of manipulation. And it typically comes from not being able to communicate properly. You know, they talk about the throat chakra and yoga and ancient teachings, and to be able to communicate properly, you have to remove that blockage between, you know, the head and the heart. Communication is something I want to talk about. Verbal communication is probably 5 to 10% of all, you know, our communication. And sometimes people think that that's the only form of communication, and it will trick us. You know, this is something I've said for years. And when we're not in tune, we're not like praying and meditating and, you know, doing yoga and getting out in nature and communicating energetically, we're not grounded, you know, we're not connected and we're not grounded, then we have problems with our communication skills. And our ambitions and motives get the better of us. And somewhere in there, we start riding that fine line of, you know, thinking about, are we manipulating, are we manifesting? Because if we can't communicate, and what I mean by communication is I don't mean verbal communication per se, I mean communicating energetically with our energetic field, with other people energetically in our heart space, in our own magnetic field. And we get blocked off, you know, we start to get blockage in our bodies. And if we're solely relying on verbal communication, then we're probably, if we do a spot check inventory, we're probably manipulating somewhere along the lines other people, and we don't even know it, you know, with good intentions. And then we start into that self-pity stuff too. You know, no one understands me. We say things like, people should be able to, you know, pick up on my energy. I shouldn't have to say it. I shouldn't have to say how I feel or things like that. That's not, you know, that's not reality. People shouldn't have to. They may be able to, but that's really shows us, you know, where we have blockage and where we're blocking ourselves off. A few things to think about when trying to clear that blockage in your throat chakra. If you don't know anything about the throat chakra, read up on it. You know, you can sing, you can do mantras, you can do ohms, drink lots and lots of water, you know, and practice. And I don't mean practice, you know, by going around and telling everybody, you know, how you feel, or trying to get everyone to understand you, because then you start to take your reality into theirs, and things get really, really iffy in situations like that. So you know, look it up and start and incorporate it in your practice as well. And hopefully you do have some sort of a practice, and start to open up the communication energetically, you know, in your surroundings with your aura. So when the time comes to verbally communicate, you have the ability to do so, and that your head and your heart's connected. So what you say and what you portray and your words and your meanings carry depth and weight, and your ambitions and motives are more on par with and you're more in tune with how you truly feel, you know, connected to the divine, to the universe, to God, to other people. And you know, a lot of us do these things, you know, for us, but there's an underlying connection with the collective too. You know, like, for example, I mentioned in a video the other day, like, I do service work, but I have to, you know, admit, interesting topic is a lot of it's for me to make my daily life better. And there is some sort of truth in that, because we're all connected as a collective. And if I'm helping you, I'm helping me, you know, and then we're helping each other because we're all this one and the same, you know, energy wise. So the manifestation is really where you start to get some stuff done. You know, if you're running around blocked off, finding yourself in or even in the past, like a lot of it, we've all been guilty of it. We'll all be guilty of it again in the future. So take a look at those parts of your life and see where you've sort of been manipulative, and kind of do a spot check inventory on where you're at then. You know, was I praying? Was I meditating? Was I doing any yoga? Was I going outside? You know, how chaotic was I at the time? You know, that's another deal, is if we're chaotic, then we attract chaotic people, and we attract, you know, what we're putting out there. So if we're not connected, we can't communicate, or being manipulative, then those are the kind of energies we're gonna attract as well. And then everything around us seems to be upside down, you know, especially the ambitions and motives, everyone around me. And I've been in those situations before, where nothing made sense. It all looked like it made sense, but subconsciously, and none of it made sense, and it just didn't feel like, you hear it all the time, like, feel lonely in a crowded place, and probably because I'm not, you know, meant to be there, or I'm not connected, I'm not in tune with myself. If I'm not in tune with myself, then how could I ever expect anyone else to understand me? You know, a lot of the times we're trying to build that bridge between the head and the heart, and you'll hear the people that always talk about communication is key, communication is key. You know, that's kind of a signal that that's something that they're searching for. And, you know, maybe they don't have it down, you know, especially if they're not very good communicators. Then there's going to be some underlying manipulation there, unfortunately. So I've been running across these issues for years. You know, try to stick around people that are aware and do spot check inventory. And, you know, everyone's on their journey. Everyone's learning. Everything I've learned has been by mistake, you know, and typically over and over. You know, there's not very many things that, you know, I got right on the first try. So just key indicators of knowing ourselves and having this giant, vast toolkit spiritually that we can use, that's at our fingertips. And, you know, I make these videos, and I have to really like go through this whole process of of making these videos, because it's not something that I always want to do, you know. And everything that I've ever, you know, talk about is learned by mistake. So, you know, don't think that all this stuff came easy, you know. I've made mistakes over and over and over, and then you have those aha moments, or those moment of clarity. If you're in tune, you know, if you have your own practice, if you're doing your own self-care and self-healing, and keeping your, you know, your connection spiritually, one of the best things you can do is fast. You know, fast from the things that are keeping you blocked off. You know, I've been fasting for years on and off, and I typically do, you know, 40-day fast. And every time I do, you know, I come out a different person. So I've set aside some things until the new year that I'm fasting from, and it doesn't have to just be food. That's, you know, it's anything like that's going to block you off from your truth and help you grow. Any of your vices that it may be, the truth will set you free. When the lower power starts losing its power, then the higher power starts working through you. You know, you surrender some of that energy, some of that headspace, and you become free. And then we can start to communicate. You know, if we have all these secrets built up and all this suppressing of emotions, then of course we can't communicate with people. Of course they don't understand, because we're not communicating. You know, we don't know how to communicate. We think verbal communication is the only communication, and you know, that's very little piece of the pie. You know, just got to get in tune and with yourself and with your source of power. Try to connect while you're out here. You know, throw up a little prayer. Sit down and meditate on a rock. Prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening. So, it made a lot of sense whenever I first thought about that. When I first thought about manifestation is greater than manipulation, because we're going to be doing one or the other. You know, we're going to be serving something, that's for sure. And if our lives are a wreck and unmanageable, chances are we created that path. We can blame others, and that's our ego. You know, if people are making us mad, if we're not happy with the president, we're not happy with our boss, we're not happy with, you know, our landlords or best friends, or, you know, the guy fixing our car, that's your ego showing. So just something to think about. Everything is in divine order, as it should be. And the universe will tell you yes, because you are manifesting it. Oh, the president sucks. Yeah, he does. Oh, the president's great. Yeah, he is. My job's great. Yeah, my job sucks. It sure does. You know, I need to do yoga. Yeah, you do. No, I don't need to do yoga today. I'm tired. You know, you're right. You don't need to do yoga, because you're creating your own universe. You know, your own world. So stay connected and manifest. Because if you're not manifesting, chances are you're manipulating somewhere. And even in manifestation, there's still manipulation. So with good intentions. So that's you know, if they would do this, then my world would be great, and then I would get what I want. So that's not, you know, that's still manipulation. Manifesting, just allowing and staying connected. You not really trying to do anything, but doing something, not pursuing anything, but things still coming in. And when we start running on self-will and pursuing things, then there's going to be some manipulation along the path. So, but with that being said, I'm going to continue to enjoy my day, and it's super windy, so I'm going to walk around and hang out and let the sun give me some good energy and breathe. Peace.